Several weeks ago, I filed suit against the County of Wayne to prevent layoffs of deputies in the county jail. Approximately 80 deputies, 80 additional deputies were at stake in this set of layoffs. As you probably are aware, we lost over 100 in the last set of layoffs. The lawsuit was filed because the budget we were given in the sheriff's office is ordered by law in a consent judgment. The consent judgment tells us how many officers we're supposed to have in the jail, and it makes it clear that it's the county's obligation to pay for those officers. Without those officers, the sheriff's office would be obligated to release almost 500 prisoners from the jail back into the community. Some of those prisoners, who we've already identified, are in our jail for crimes such as rape and bank robbery. That is something, folks, that I'm just not willing to do. It is my obligation as the sheriff to protect the community, not put the community at risk. It should be noted that the judge has determined in the lawsuit that we filed that the county had underfunded the sheriff's office over $14 million in this calendar year. The Wayne County jail system is a substandard system anyway in terms of the number of beds that it has. And that's what makes this release issue far more acute. We are, of any large urban city in the country, have fewer jail beds. We have fewer jail beds than any of those systems. Let me just give you a brief example of Milwaukee County, for example, which has 1/2 the population and has 300 more jail beds. We have twice the population and have less jail beds than they do. And so anytime we reduce the number of jail beds in this county, it's going to further exacerbate the problem. One of the difficulties in getting businesses into the city of Detroit is the cost of doing business, and crime is a significant part of that. And there's not a resident in the city who feels that police protection is adequate. Anybody knows that putting 500 more dangerous people back into the community can do nothing but make it worse. And so this is not just an issue of prisoner release. It's actually an issue of destroying an entire community, a community that in these tough economic times doesn't need any more hardships. Government's fundamental responsibility, above all else, is to protect its citizens. Even though the judges found that we were underfunded by over $14 million, and the county executive came through and cut a significant part of my administrative staff as a part of these layoffs, the county has projected that in this fiscal year I will go $10 million over budget. That, ladies and gentlemen, indicates that we're managing awful well. If we've been underfunded over $14 million and our deficit will only be 10, I think that's a clear-cut indication that the sheriff's office is doing everything it can to try to work within the county's financial constraints. I'm sure you've also heard from the county executive that this is scare tactics on the part of the sheriff, that the sheriff is threatening to lay off people and to release prisoners. That really wouldn't happen. Folks, it has got to happen if we don't receive this budget, and the county executive fully understands that. His staff meets with staff in the sheriff's office almost on a daily basis to try to work out a solution to this case. And the only solution that they have come up with on any of these meetings is to close floors of the jail, lay off deputies, and they know it would cause a release in prisoners into the community. It is impossible to be underfunded by over $14 million and stay within your budget. It is possible, however, for me to defy that budget, go to court to sue, which I did, and continue to protect the citizens of Wayne County, which I'm doing. I've already done significant work at cutting costs, and I think that gets missed in this whole translation. We've already lost in this budget 117 positions. We found a way to survive with that loss, even though it has limited service. It has cut out our ability to police in the city of Detroit significantly, in the county of Wayne. We have saved in the last several years $35 million in increasing jail bed revenue, in bringing in grants and contracts. We have done a number of things, both to create savings on the expenditure side and to bring in money on the revenue side
to work with the county to better be able to provide services and not leave people at risk.
I also would like to clearly state that I and my office are clearly willing to work with the county executive to try to come up with a resolution to this budget deficit. But understand, a resolution is a compromise. It takes two to make that work. We have been attempting to come to a resolution for months, but that resolution cannot include turning wholesale numbers of dangerous predators back into our community. We stood willing to work with the county executive before, and we do today, but we also are not going to put the community at risk. Thank you very much.